Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Necropop Digital. I'm Neo. In this video I want to show you guys how to make a custom shape using the pen tool and some tweaks here and there. Some of the stuff that I use. So first of all, let me go ahead and put this in design here. Get that set up. I'm going to leave it on display capture just so you can see it. So be prepared for a little bit of lag. I don't know why, but seem to get a little bit of lag with it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some guides on an empty canvas. This particular canvas is 1264 by 1264, but it doesn't matter because we're using shapes and pen tool. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the top ruler. I believe it's Control R if you want to get them to appear if you don't see them. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the top. Now you don't have to do this, but this is just easier for me. Go to the top, press and hold Alt on the keyboard, and it's going to change the orientation. Okay, and that's just gonna be my center line for the canvas. And I'm going to do the same thing without holding Alt to bring it down into the center. Okay. Now I'm going to go into my custom shapes palette and I'm going to select one of my all-time favorite icons or logos, which is the Decepticon. So I'm going to hold in the center. I'm going to drag it out, and it's going to be skewed, and it's going to be in the upper right quadrant. So I'm going to hit Alt, which is going to center it, but it's still skewed. So now I'm going to hit Shift. Shift will constrain the image and keep it to its original size without skewing, and Alt will constrain it to the center. So I'm going to make this pretty good sized, about like that. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is this huge mess we've got going on. The reason for this mess is more than likely the person who made this a shape used a raster image to do so. So there's a lot of stepping. And since it's not exactly super accurate, it grabbed a lot of the stepped edge in addition to compensate. So instead of going through here and selecting these and deleting them and closing the path to get that nice straight line with just, because you only need 2 points for each of these because this whole thing is square. Everything is a straight line in this. So in order to do this, we're just going to make a whole new image, but we want this image here so we have a reference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to convert the layer to raster image. It's going to rasterize it, meaning it is no longer a shape, it is now just an image. So we're going to leave this center line here because we're going to need that to mirror it later. But we're going to go ahead and start at the top. I'm going to get my pen tool out. I'm just going to click in the top left corner, and that's all I'm going to do. Just click. If you drag it out, you're going to end up making a handled curve. Like so. You don't want that. You want it to be nice and straight. So now I'm going to select somewhere here. Then I'm going to grab down here. 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 Now you're going to start noticing that it might get in the way. See how it's starting to think? If you want to, you can change that just by that. If you take away the fill, it won't be a path. Also, make sure, and I'm an idiot for not doing this earlier, and I apologize for that. Make sure that your pen tool is selected is for shape rather than path. Otherwise, there's more steps involved. But I'm going to go ahead and start tweaking this out a little bit, make more anchor points until we get to the center. I'm going to try to find an average here. Do that. Now, if you hold shift when you click, it'll constrain to a straight line. That way there you'll have that nice, perfect, straight connection from one to the other on the vertical. On this one, you don't want to, otherwise it'll constrain to 45 degrees. But then snap to that corner, and then one more. And that'll close that particular path. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the same thing here. This corner, now I'm going to hold shift, click on the center guide, do the same thing. I'm holding shift as I do this, let go of shift, bring it down, hold shift again, let go, and close that path. Okay. The last one we're going to do is the eye. So, and that's because you're going to want to have a subtraction on that. So, now notice how it's making layers. Don't worry about that. That'll get fixed here in a bit. So we're going to make another layer. Start there at the corner. This one you don't have to hold shift at all. And select. Okay, so now we've got 1/2. So we'll go up here, give it some color. Just so you can see what I've done. Okay. Now, this last piece, I'm going to grab this, the largest piece, and I'm going to drag it underneath of the layer so I can see that outline. Right? And I'm going to go ahead and make this shape. And then I'm going to take both of these and drag them back above that. Could have just dragged the one under. And I'm going to go ahead and eliminate that shape from the raster from the shape itself. Now, select the biggest piece, or shape 1, and shape 2. Hit Control E on the keyboard to merge them together. Get your path selection, or hit A on the keyboard. Select the eye. Go up to the path operations and select subtract. Now we have halfway, but we're going to have to do one more thing before we mirror it over. So, and that's going to make sure that everything's lined up. So I'm going to go hit A on my keyboard twice to bring up the direct selection. First of all, let's go ahead and merge these all together. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab that. That way there I have that one. I'm going to click on it. And if this is not snapped, it will snap and you'll see your cursor turn black. That's what you want. And if you need to constrain it, hold shift. That way there, it'll snap to, I always pull it out anyway, just a little bit, and then bring it in. Just by the one. So I'll hold it, or I'll click on it, hold shift, and snap it. That way there, it's all, everything is nice and snapped to the guide. So when we do a mirror of this, you have anchors laying on top of each other, and when you combine them, those anchors will go away when you merge them. So now that we've got everything done, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my path selection, and I'm going to grab everything. I'm going to go back up to path operations, click it, and merge the shape. That's going to make one shape. So now it's one. Previously, they were all individual shapes, except for the one we merged. Now, by merging them, it's all one. Now, the last step we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit Control and semicolon to make the guides disappear temporarily. I'm going to select my path and hit P on the keyboard, and that's going to bring up my pen tool. Now, you'll notice there's a plus symbol on that. That means we can add an anchor. So we're going to add an anchor. Now I'm going to hit Alt, which is going to give me controls to adjust this anchor by way of, I'm going to click it, and it's going to make those handles go away. So now it's a linear line instead of a curve. Now I'm going to hit delete. Whoops, that screwed up. Sorry. Okay, we'll just drag a selection out for that one. Keep that in mind. And then just delete. And what that's going to do is it's going to create an open path. I'm going to do the same thing for this. Delete. One more. And you don't necessarily have to make it linear. I do just for ease of use because sometimes you get weird. And that should be it. Now we're looking at a completely open path. And of course, I had to be made an idiot out of. And I have to do that again. Just be advised that that could happen potentially, because sometimes it'll grab everything. So now that we have an open path and it's all one, I'm going to go ahead and hit Control semicolon on the keyboard again to bring up my guides. Now with everything selected, I'm going to hold B in, make sure you're in path selection, hold Alt, and then just drag and then hold Shift. That way there it constrains it and copies. I'm going to go to Edit, Transform Path, Flip Horizontal. Then I'm going to zoom in a bit while it's still fully selected, and I'm just going to drag it over while holding Shift till it snaps to the guide. Now to make sure you can see that, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my guide. Now I'm going to zoom out enough to where I can grab everything, and merge. And if the merge is a clean merge, you'll see that outline disappear in the center. Now I'm going to go ahead and come in here. Now you could do this one of two ways. If you were going to say do the other side as an Autobot, right? So you get the whole Autobot Decepticon thing, which is really cool. At this point, you wouldn't mirror it over. So, but what I would do is I'll come in here. And now, keep in mind, there is a difference. I wanted to bring this up. There is a difference between deleting a anchor point and removing one. Okay? Deleting one will create an open path. Removing one with the pen tool will not. It'll keep that path. It'll keep its integrity. It'll keep it closed. So now there you go. Now this is one complete image that I can use. As you can see, I can move it around. When I select it, it's going to grab the whole thing as a path. And there you go. Now if you want to save this, you select the path, go up to Edit, Define Custom Shape, name it. I'm going to name this Decepticon. Make sure I spelled it right because I am stupid. And click OK. Now, I'm going to go ahead and delete the bottom layer. I'm going to go into my custom shapes. See where that put it. More than likely at the very bottom. Apparently not. Where did it go? Okay, this is oh, here it is. I knew it. All the way at the bottom. So I'll grab this and I will drag it up through the myriad of poo-poo I have in here. And I'm going to put it next to the old one. That way there. And then I can hover over it to make sure, because I think one is named differently, I believe. Maybe not. Nope, it's not. So this one here, I think is it Control? No, maybe it's Alt. Oh, yeah, just right click on it. Oh, I guess you can't delete it. Why? Probably in the manager. Or I have to go in the manager to remove it. But at least you have a cleaner version. So if I go up here and I'll select it. I think this is the one that we made. And we'll know it because it'll be a nice clean image. So we'll go ahead and make that invisible so you can see it. The new one. And I'm going to just click and drag. Hold shift to constrain it to the shape. And select. And release. And as you can see, we have our new shape. So, and you can do that with just about anything. I've done quite a few cleanups in the past, just for ease of use, you know. But if you want, now you can go in here to your effects, and if you want to, you could add a gradient to it to give it that metallic look and do all kinds of crazy stuff. That's for another tutorial. In this one, I just wanted to show you how to make something by using something else and have a nice clean path, for lack of a better term. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Until next time, y'all take care, stay safe. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.